I'm Shane Nyland, and my co host is Blake Musser. And these stories you're about to hear are from Weapons Company, 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines, 1st Marine Division, about the events surrounding and directly from the mouths of the people who were in Ramadi 2004. This is part 2 of our interview with Hector Fernandez from Rainmaker Platoon.
When we were talking about a time I'll never forget is,
Yeah.
and I don't know if, because it was with I-5 platoon, when we were in Mount Fuji. Were you part of that picture that we took with all of our asses hanging out and Mount Fuji on the background?
No, I do remember the picture, but no,
Okay.
I got
Yeah.
held back and was in corporal's course in Japan
Okay.
while all of you guys went to Japan.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember Pace being there,
Mhm.
Booty, like a few of the guys. It was like a line of just asses, and then
Yep.
Mount Fuji in the background. Um,
Yeah, man.
of
That's a
that.
good. That's a good
Uh,
memory. I remember that picture because I remember you guys looking back and having like your finger up, like
yes,
like
yes,
posing like pinup girls.
yes, yep, yeah. I think one that kind of stood out to me about like what was the question? What do you wish people understood about our deployment? That one kind of stood out to me, right? Because I feel that, echoing a lot of the stuff that was said last year on the reunion,
Mhm.
which was like, they don't talk about none of the stuff that we did,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. Kudos to both of you for doing this, and kind of getting the greasy wheels kind of turning on everybody's brain, right? Because
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff I forgot, and I'm like, oh yeah, that did happen, blah blah, right? As you're talking about things, um, it wasn't just combat, right? Like it was a big sacrifice. It was leadership. It was kind of surviving in an impossible situation.
Yeah.
That's one of the things, like we were just fighting insurgents. We were trying to protect the city, stabilize chaos,
Yeah.
uh, and most importantly of all, but keep each other alive, right?
Mhm.
And I think like uh, one of the things that always that I carry and I have carried with me is that the hardest part wasn't doing the deployment; it was what followed us home,
Mhm.
right? Because for the entire time, and not everybody's the same, right? But the entire time of my career, the 22 plus years, that was me always, everything that I did, and I carry, like, and it goes everywhere with me. Like I got it in 2004, and
Mhm.
it's never left. It's been through every deployment. It's been through everything. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. I always have this thing on. Um,
Yeah,
and it's
memorial bands are a big deal. And it looks like yours is for Condi. I had one. It just broke, unfortunately, so I have to get a new one. But same, I wear it all the time. It's one of the few things I do wear, actually, of
yeah,
any kind of jewelry or veteran anything.
correct. So and like I'm assuming for all of us that were wounded or that weren't wounded is that guilt or of surviving when so many others didn't.
Mhm.
That I don't think that ever leaves you, right? And again, I did multiple combat deployments after the Ramadi deployment, but the one that I always refer back to is Ramadi.
Yeah.
And I lost many other brothers and sisters throughout my others, but yeah, Ramadi is the one that I always come back to.
Yeah, you kind of mentioned it before, and I was going to ask you, but now you're coming back to it anyway. You went to Edson Range almost a month after, like you reported to
Yes,
Edson Range basically a month after we got back from Ramadi.
yes, yep,
And then you said you were there for a little bit, but you felt like you couldn't stay.
yes.
What made you feel like you couldn't stay there? Because I mean, 3 years training people how to shoot, not a bad gig, right? And most
No,
people would have enjoyed that time.
um, like in the beginning, I was having flashbacks.
Mm.
So during that time frame, um, like I was acting like everything was okay, but it wasn't really okay.
Sure.
But I didn't want people to look at me any other way, right? Like different and like,
Yeah.
okay, okay, you're a hazard and you can't be around recruits and other Marines and like
Yeah.
all that stuff. So I started going to kind of like counseling. I think that was like my first
Hmm.
introduction to counseling. Was a few months after because like I got promoted to Sergeant April of '05, and it
Hmm.
was somewhere around that time frame.
Did you see
Um,
somebody from the Navy, or did you go out in town and see a private individual?
no, so they sent me, and by they, the company, like my leadership sent me to somebody in on main side.
Okay.
It was on main side. It was a civilian on main side. So I
I mean,
went
somebody,
to
a
BAS.
contractor then. Yeah, somebody
Yes, yeah,
contracted with the Navy service. That's good.
probably yes. So I did that, but then they put me on Zoloft, and it was just not happening. Like those
Yeah.
things were not it. So I auto stopped taking those, and I was like, look, I can't function. Like I can't teach recruits and people how to shoot if I'm high as this guy and like all loopy and like known like complete numbness. And I think that was one of the turning points for me of me feeling that I was like, okay, what am I doing? How is this impacting me as a whole? Like my
Yeah.
relationship at the time, because I was married at the time. And talk about the nightmares.
Do you mind if I ask you some details about your
No,
experience
no,
with
no, no, yeah, go
Zoloft?
ahead,
Just
man.
because,
I'm open. Come on, brother.
well, I think a lot of people end up getting trialed on antidepressant medication, and this is definitely the medical person in me speaking.
Hmm.
The side effects are profound for most SSRIs. Not always, but for a lot of people. And the big one that a lot of dudes really hate is the sexual side effects. Were you having those too?
So I don't recall. I don't
Yeah.
like it. It was a comedy because I was drinking too, right?
Oh,
So
sure.
I could have
Yeah. So it could have
not.
been anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it could have been a combination of both.
And then
I
you said you felt numb. Do you remember how
Yes.
long you were on Zoloft? Just a rough estimate, like weeks, months, years,
A couple of months. No, a couple of months. It was a
couple of
couple of
months,
months. Yes.
and
And
then
then
you
I
just
was like,
quit taking them cold turkey?
yes, yes.
Oof.
I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Like, and I know you're probably like, what the fuck were you doing, bro? But I was
Nope.
like, no, no,
Nope.
no, no,
Nope.
no. But I'm just saying, like, because it's like,
You're not
yeah, I
supposed to
just,
suddenly stop taking them. It can
yes, and
be
that's what I'm
dangerous,
saying.
but I mean, you also aren't supposed to get blown up twice in a week. So, hey,
No, but like, yeah, so I was like, what? Like, I just didn't like anything. And I felt that I was just detached from everybody.
yeah,
I just felt numb. And I was like, this is not me. This
yeah,
is not who I am.
yeah,
Like, I need to stop. And I think that was potentially like one of the triggers for me to try and request to get sent back to the fleet and deploy. Like, I was like, okay, this is making me uncomfortable, right?
sure.
And I didn't know how to get comfortable being uncomfortable at the time, right? So it was like, okay, fuck this. I can't do this shit. Like, I need to leave. I need to get off this medicine so it's not on my record. So they don't look at me like I'm weak when I get to my next duty station. They
Yeah.
don't, just a lot of stuff
That's an
that
extremely
psychologically
good,
you,
that's an extremely good point too, is that a lot of people look at antidepressants with a lot of stigma, which is
yes,
also inappropriate because if
yes.
you need it, you need it. And there are some people who definitely need it. It sounds like you were able to successfully get past it, but it took some doing.
Did. And I feel that how it happened, it was me getting back with the boys, like
Yeah.
getting back to
Sure.
deploying, getting back to the action. Like I felt a stranger being back here and I just wanted to deploy because for a lot of those deployments, I volunteered. Like it wasn't even a, hey, your unit is deploying. It was like, hey, there's a individual augmentation happening. Like, would you like to be part of it? And I was like, yes, if it's going to send me away and send me, into fighting and shooting and blah, 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 like everything else, right? Like I was like, sign me up because I'm all about it. So I think that kind of was gassing my feet and I was like fueling me to kind of do that. So
I think a lot of us did that. I can't speak for everybody, but I know a lot of other people who have said the same thing. I know that's also what I did. I took an office job and I hate it and I got depressed and I then went back as a private contractor. So same
yep,
thing. I used the camaraderie and the deployment and the action as my anesthesia.
yep.
And it worked well. It worked very well. I felt very good going back in.
That's how I felt all the way up until I think maybe 2015. And that was when like I just kept deploying, so my marriage was a cluster.
Sure.
So I was like, all right, like we weren't even living together anymore. So it was like, why are we doing this type of thing? So I kind of finished, that got divorced. And I think that's when it all like went down the drain for a while. So it was pretty bad
Now,
during that time frame.
were you were married when we deployed to Ramadi?
No, I was divorced when we deployed to Ramadi. Like I was married before I came in the Marine
Okay.
Corps, and when
Were you older when
03.
you joined?
No, so I was forced into a marriage because of my kids.
I don't
So my
suppose
kids
I
are,
knew that. You had children before we deployed to Ramadi?
yeah. So I have a 24, about to be 25-year-old, and a 23, about to be 24-year-old. Two boys. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
So my youngest is contemporary with Jay Neal, Latham's son, his
okay.
oldest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So I was fourth marriage until before I even joined the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Just because my girlfriend at the time was pregnant.
Yeah.
So but by the time we deployed, I was divorced. So that didn't last.
Were you able to maintain a relationship with your kids while you were deployed in Ramadi?
No, none of that. They were too little.
Yeah, I guess they couldn't talk on the phone when they're toddlers.
Yeah, but they were too little, and then there was no it was nothing was amicable between their mother and myself.
Sure.
So as soon as we got back, that's when I got married.
I've been told it's hard to deal with infantry Marines, no matter how long they've been out. You can ask my wife. So.
Yeah,
we tend to have a certain view of the life of how the world works.
Yeah. It definitely is something else.
So dragging you back just a touch, you mentioned from the reunion and from your own experience, you feel like people don't talk about the 2004 Ramadi deployment.
Yes.
Do you now again? I don't get to talk to sergeant majors every day, so I'm excited. In your 22 years of service, what do you think? Why do you think that it's not talked about? Because all kind of other units have gotten all sorts of different things written about them, and even in the official publications like the flag officer publications, Ramadi is often a footnote. It is not talked about in great detail like Fallujah or Baghdad or Heat or any of these other places.
Yeah, and I feel that it was because of Fallujah happening simultaneously.
Okay.
So that had a lot to do with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody talks about Fallujah 1, Fallujah 2, but nobody talks about Ramadi. Right. And they even talk about Ramadi 2.
Yes.
Right. But not, Ramadi. Everything. I mean, I even had that at the reunion, right? About a little bit over a month ago. That the focus was 2006 Ramadi.
Interesting.
And I was like, did we forget that 2004 happened and everything that took place in 2004? Like, I don't know. I think it's just people. I don't know. I don't know what it is exactly, but they're just like breezing over it, right? And not kind of knowing the greatness that we did, and all that came with it, right? And everybody that was in after, right? Myself, Leighton, Latham, Dahl, who's still in, Hal, who's still in, right? Like, yeah, like nobody talks about, and it doesn't even matter how long we were in. They're like, oh yeah, you deployed. I was like, yeah, I was in Ramadi. They're like, oh, okay. But were you in Fallujah? No, I went to Fallujah '07, but no, right? So nobody talked about. Yeah, I just, yeah, I don't know. Like,
I remember joking about that even when we were in Ramadi. Is like, there's we're in the background of the musical, right? Like there's everything's happening in Fallujah and we're just the background dancers. Like it's a kind of a ridiculous thing. I don't know the reason. I think everybody else's I think your explanation is interesting too. And a lot of people have a lot of different hypotheses as to what they think is the reason why. I like yours. What else you got?
shit. Yeah, I think the biggest one was that one, like just the Ramadi piece or the Fallujah, not kind of like overshadowing us for a long time. Because like I said, like they talked about, even when I went to the follow-on units, nobody talked about. No, nobody, like no gunner, like nobody. Yeah, like now that I'm retired and I'm like, yeah, I was part of Ramadi. They were like, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, Lieutenant Colonel Kennedy at the time, Sergeant Major Booker, blah, blah. And I start throwing names out and like people start like, oh, putting two and two together now. But that wasn't happening, for the entire time that I was in.
I don't remember if it was something someone said while we've been talking with people or it's something that I read. But to add kind of a shade to what you're saying, that because Fallujah was so, almost unhinged with what was going on, they were just barely keeping the lid on it, and they had, they were, 5 times the amount of people doing it. That there's several, even at that time, if you look at a lot of the notes about what was happening in Ramadi at the same time, the command would say, "We're not worried about Ramadi; it's taken care of." And
Yeah.
and what ends up happening when that happens is that it's kind of like, you know, it's like your golden child. It's like, well, I don't, I'm not paying attention to them. I have to deal with my problem child here. And I'm really excited when my problem child doesn't completely shit the bed. They got a C on their test, and your golden child keeps getting straight A's. And it's like, well, of course, and I think as I've looked through a lot of trying to wrap my head around this question, I think that, at least for me, that's the one that rings the most true, of like that combination of like, it was so well handled that it's glossed past, and it's like, well, it couldn't have been that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you actually are looking into it and being like, holy shit, it was a few months later that they had to split it apart and give it, to multiple battalions, when we held it by ourselves, when Ramadi was twice the size of Fallujah and we held it by ourselves.
Over 400,000.
Yeah. And so I think it's almost kind of like why, and Nyland and I have had this conversation before. I don't like talking about like what we did for 800 different reasons. One, it gets exhausting to try to explain all the different details. But number two, as you're telling the story, it's not that people necessarily don't believe you, but it's like, if one of our stories we would tell, it'd be like, okay, but we have 20 of those stories. It's like, okay, now you're starting to make it up. How big was the fish? But it's like, no, seriously, I'm underselling.
Yes.
What happened. And I think that's, between those two things, I think is part of it, is was so absolutely insane what we did that it's almost hard to believe.
Yeah. I feel that if you weren't there, just like anything else, right? If you weren't there, you don't know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, yeah. If you didn't live through it, then it's just another anecdote for somebody else. Going back to any, and this is just if my memory serves me correctly, um, like I remember, like when you put down, like, do you recall any particular humorous or unusual event?
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so I do have an unusual event, and this is, I may be making this shit up. I don't fucking know. But I feel that, remember being in a firefight, and Sergeant Major Booker coming down an alley with his M14 and scope,
Mhm.
and then getting to our squad just by himself,
Mhm.
So
getting
far,
to our yes,
so far that checks
getting
out.
to our getting to our squad and saying, "Hey, who's the squad leader?" And I was like, "Me, Sergeant Major." And then he's like, "We're gonna clear this building, and I'm gonna get to the rooftop." And I just remember him literally taking over, like, my entire squad, as we were like on a middle of a firefight, bounding down on a street to stop to clear a building for Sergeant Major Booker so he can get to the
Mhm.
rooftop and
Mhm.
have a better vantage point. So that right there, to me, and I even said it when I got promoted to Sergeant Major, that was the moment where I was like, that's a bad motherfucker, and that's what the fuck I want to be. Like, I didn't put two and two together, right? I didn't put that, hey, in order, like, at the time, right? You're like, oh, all sergeant majors are like that, and it's like, no, the fuck they're not. But that's what the fuck that's what the fuck happened to me, and that's what I wanted to emulate.
That's awesome.
So,
We did get lucky with our leadership, though. I mean,
yes,
Booker,
Yeah.
Markey, Kennedy,
yeah, yes,
Carroll. I mean, I
Yeah.
could go on and on.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there was just a lot of good people in the right positions, and I think we got very fortunate. And Booker
hmm,
was one of those people where he was just likable, and he's still just likable. Like,
yes,
just for
yeah.
no reason, he's just got a little bit of charisma, and he's just likable.
Like, yeah, like they don't make leaders like that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, they don't. Like,
You know,
yeah, they just don't.
I got one for you. This conversation just made me think of it. So I think it was at the reunion, and since then, I think Nyla and I brought it up before too. Is there is a bizarre, or at least it seems a bizarre amount of people that did Ramadi in '04 that went all the way. Like, I feel like the statistics have to be like almost unheard of the number of sergeant majors, the number of like generals that came from, and from a modern standpoint, probably World War II, there's Korea or whatever. Maybe there's some other examples, maybe Vietnam, but in a more recent time period, I bet. I mean, you listed off 4 sergeant majors, right?
Yeah,
Because
so no,
and we still have
Dahl is a
Calderon
master
that,
guns.
you know.
Dahl is a master guns. He's still active. Leighton, Kyle, Mangio, who was in a golf company, he's still active duty. Baum, who just retired.
Hmm.
Myself, who is probably not talked about a lot, but I served with him in 2 6 years later, and he's going to kill me if he's listening to this, or if he does, and I don't say his name properly. But I was about to say Justin Crum, but it's not. But it was somebody from Fox Company
Okay.
uh, that, in talking when I was with 2 6, he's like, wasn't 2 4. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man, I was in 2 4, blah, blah. And we started talking, and I was like, holy shit. He retired the same year that I did. And yeah, so there was a lot of people, and it was weird because the only one that I ran across was Leighton, Daw, because Daw and I like served together. I was his company first sergeant. He was my company gunny.
Hmm.
Um, and we deployed to Afghan in 2020. One other individual, but yeah, there was not a lot of. Oh, Seth Collard,
Mm.
Collard, what's his name
Yeah.
from Fox Company. So
McCabe
yeah,
from my platoon did 25 years. He
okay.
just retired a month ago, I think. And
Doc
he,
McCabe,
Contreras. I
yeah,
mean, and then you
and
start
yeah, I
talking
Contreras
mean
about our
still
Doc
in.
senior,
C, yeah,
Yeah.
Doc
and then
C, yeah, Doc C,
yeah, and then if you start talking about our seniors, you know, like Sergeant Major Cook, Eric Cook,
Cook,
my platoon
he's still
commander,
in.
he's
Yeah.
still in. I mean,
Yeah,
Coleman, both
yeah,
Colemans.
Yeah.
both, yeah.
I mean, anyways, my point. I had a little bit of a
Sorry,
point,
yeah.
which is no. We're just listing names now. No, my question to you is uh, as someone that did this, is there something? Why do you think that would be? Is it that shaped these people and they decided to stay in because they wanted to push it through, or does the military? I mean, you said that you didn't feel like the military viewed that service as like, oh shit, they did Ramadi, they've got something to share.
They didn't. I feel that that was having leaders like the ones that we had kind of forged something in us to
Mm,
make sure that the generations or the people that were in our care, right, and we were, leading, um, had that type of leadership, right, and that type of mentorship throughout their time, or whatever, whether it was 4 or however many years later. But that, at least for me, that forged me into taking bits and pieces of, Sergeant Major Booker, Cook, Coleman, like all these individual hierarchy,
Yeah.
Drake,
mm.
uh, Harding, so all those, it was just a combination of things that I feel, and then again, it's just me, but like I feel that it forged me to continue on, to continue that legacy.
Nice.
Well, what did you, I'm going to keep taking you back to Ramadi because that's our point, even though
Yes,
this
sorry.
is, no, fuck no, don't say sorry. This is also a super interesting piece of it is how many people's trajectory took them 20 years. I mean, and you just mentioned, Harden did almost 20 years, I think 19 or
Yeah.
something like that. Jordan did 20 years. Like a whole bunch of guys
Jordan,
from my platoon
yeah,
also did
Jordan and I
20
served
years.
together. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, I was just going to ask you, taking you back to your corporal days. What'd you do? What'd you do in your downtime when you weren't knocked out and going to IED classes? What'd you do?
Uh,
What'd you do to occupy your time? Because you weren't always kicking down doors.
now, I feel like I, I know we did get downtime, but at the time, I didn't feel like it was much.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, like I know it was a lot because of the rotation that we had,
sure.
right? If you want to call it that, but I just didn't feel like so. I mean, I wrote a lot of letters home.
Hmm.
Um, that was like, yeah, I think between that year, my mom still has, I don't even know how many gazillion letters, because I was just trying to write a
It's
letter
funny.
home almost
We
every
were
single day.
literally just talking about this before you got on writing letters home. And so you're
Yep.
writing your mom. Who else were you writing? I
Yeah,
wrote very few letters.
it was mainly my mom.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was mainly my mom and my family that I was writing to, a lot of the times. Like when I was coming back, I was
Yeah.
getting a lot of, through snail mail, the, care packages and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like that,
Get anything good in those care packages?
all I was trying to get was a lot of like the Puerto Rican candy that I couldn't get,
Nice.
anywhere
Dude,
else.
flavors of
Like
home,
it was
man.
like,
Nothing wrong with
yeah,
that.
man, like yeah, anything that can. So that was pretty much like my listening to music and the CD players.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, having a CD player and having scratched up CDs after the deployment, from all the sand and everything else. On it. I didn't really lift weights like everybody else did, or I wasn't much into that. But it was mainly bullshitting, man, with everybody else. Anything to kind of stay sane, and kind of keep the calm, and all the adversity that we were facing.
Did you have any of the you saying that one of my favorite things was trying to get to if we got to go to another base, mostly because I was always a hungry recruit, and so I was always looking for.
You were a double striper.
Yeah, I really was. No, uh, but wanting, Blue Diamond Heads, it was always a fun run. But I wasn't sure. Did you have a
I,
couple of those that you were always?
I went to Blue Diamond maybe a few times. And then I mean, obviously that week that I was doing that IED course, I ate like a champ the entire time at it was an army base,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Junction
Yeah,
City was
Yep.
mostly Army. There was a CB unit there too.
Yeah,
But
CBs, yeah. But yeah, so I remember eating a lot, like my life depended on it. Because I knew that MREs and bottled waters and all that stuff was kind of waiting, or powdered eggs. Let's put some water in these things and heat them up so we can serve chow.
that's funny, dude.
Yeah, but like it was mainly writing letters and listening to music. And that's how I kind of kill my time and just
Yeah.
BSing with other people.
You spend a lot of time in the smoke pit, or did you play cards or anything?
No, I did smoke a lot. I think that's when I started smoking like heavily, because I didn't before.
I was gonna say I don't remember you smoking in Okinawa. I did, but you
No,
didn't. And I
yeah,
do
no.
remember you smoking in Ramadi.
In Ramadi, yeah, it was just like everybody else was doing it. So it was like, hey, let's go smoke a cigarette and just go shoot the shit at the smoke pit.
Yeah.
Or, hey, it's my turn at the burn pit. Let me go to the burn pit and like do whatever.
It's funny you mentioned
that
the burn pits. It seems like not nobody, but it's not mentioned as one of the big burn pit places. But we had a giant burn pit that was
giant. Yes, I
burning
remember.
ammo and plastic
Yes.
and trash
Yep.
and shit and everything else.
Yes.
How often did you go out to the burn pits?
I think the only times that I went to the burn pit was when we were on guard, like during the rotation, because that's a time that we were able to like go and help or whatever. But it was like I feel that was at the rotation when we were on guard that I would go out to the burn pit.
Did you end up going? Did you end up going on the bridge post too, or were you always on radio?
I did. No, so I did the post right there, right next to the bridge.
I mean, North Bridge was one of them, and then there was South Bridge was the other. That was the two bridge.
The one closest to us. Was that North?
North Bridge would have been closer to our hooches. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I did guard there once, but then most of the other time I was used as a COG. But I did.
Make a good corporal to guard. You go up and make all the relief and check and make sure people weren't sleeping.
I tried. Yeah, I tried.
Nice.
I tried.
Did you have a good luck charm? I had a little rock.
So my mom, very religious, and I kind of grew up in that Roman Catholic environment and church going every Saturday and Sunday and stuff like that. So I did have a little kind of like a charm, Saint Michael charm, and a little kind of like letter that I carried with me throughout the entire deployment. So,
did you have any rituals that went with that, or just as long as it was on you?
No, as long as I didn't have no rituals per se, I just had it on me. I remember having it on it was on the side, on the sleeves on the side. Yeah. And I continue that for many of my other deployments as well. So yeah, it's one of the things that I always did.
You wrote a lot of letters home. I'm curious. I don't. Nobody else has ever mentioned it, but I'm curious now. Did you write a death letter? Something that they were supposed to send home if you died?
No. That is a great question. No, I never did.
Yeah.
That's
good.
Did.
That's good. You're hopeful.
No, I never did. I mean, I think some of them, if not most of them, were about how scared I was and like how dreadful these things were. 'Cause like now that I got read a few, I haven't read all of them, but like my mom kind of goes through, a cycle of, oh, look what you sent me back in 1775. So, yeah, like I was like, holy shit, what a fucking pussy I was. Like I was just writing out scared.
You're a young
In my
man. It's all
mind, I'm
right.
like, "Ugh, I'm a fucking man. But in those letters, MAN was not fucking a word for them.
Nothing wrong with
So,
being vulnerable with your mom, man.
yes,
That's all
yeah.
right. That's
So,
funny as hell.
yeah,
When you were back in the hooches, did you end up going over to the other? I know because you got pulled out of that, like the cat platoons and stuff like that. So
yeah, so
that
I
would have been
used to
your more
go.
core group. But
Yes, to where Vigil and Cox and
Map 3.
Moonings
Yep.
and yeah, Map 3, yep, yeah, where Condi was and stuff like that. And I guess because weird, because Condi and I, like when I enlisted from here, from Florida,
Yeah.
right? Kissimmee, and Condi enlisted from Orlando. We kind of like whenever he came to the platoon, it's like we forged like this like bond like right away. Plus he was half Puerto Rican and blah blah, so we had a lot of things kind of like in common to begin with. But yeah, like Map 3 was one of the hooches that I used to go to the most on like downtime or whatever to check up on people and stuff like that.
I do imagine that was pretty strange because you were a 51 and you were with IFAV, which turned into Map 3.
Yep.
And you were with, and we did anti-armor platoon for a
Yes,
while, which was
yep.
all of us tow gunners and
Mhm.
javelin gunners all together. And then you got split off and thrown into the 81s. Was it a culture shock to go over to the 81s? Was it different?
It was, and I was like, fuck, like, they don't fucking want me. Like they sent me. It's literally like I felt like I was like the bastard child.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't ask to go being fapped out. I didn't ask for that. So now that I'm trying to come back to my platoon, they're trying to send me fucking somewhere else. So I kind of felt like a little betrayal in the beginning. And then once I saw, like I started kind of like building relationships with everybody in that platoon, then, I was like, whatever. But in the beginning, I was like, this is fucked up. Like, why did they send me away? Like, was I not good enough? Like, I started kind of doubting myself in the beginning a little bit, to be honest with you, as to why they had sent me over to some other platoon. I didn't see the big picture, right? I'm looking at the micro level when they're looking at the macro level. Right?
Yeah, it feels very personal. Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah.
Did you notice much of a difference between the way that 81s ran themselves versus the other where you came from, or was it pretty easy to transition?
It was, and I feel a lot has to do with Sergeant Garcia. Yeah, like it was a lot because like he didn't make me feel kind of like an outsider. So because he was well respected in that platoon, like they were like, oh, Sergeant G's hanging out with him, he must be cool or blah blah. Like like I feel that was a lot to do with it. Like I don't think it was me in the beginning. It was more how Sergeant G treated me to where how everybody else kind of like looked at me and kind of started bonding with me and stuff like that and taking me in.
To anybody on the outside listening to this conversation, that has to sound like prison. Like, oh man, the head prisoner took me in and they weren't going to kill me. Like, but it's funny. It's funny how we talked about it before, how, I don't know, there was like a rivalry always between different platoons and you always thought the other guys were stupid. Like it didn't matter who, everybody else was stupid. Your platoon
fucking
was
81 playing fucking cars and whatever. And blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah, you always thought the other guys there's something wrong with them.
Yes, but yeah, like I feel that a lot had to do with Smart Garcia. Yeah, like just taking me in and kind of saying, okay, boom, this is kind of like essentially saying he may not have chosen to be here, but he's here, and we're gonna treat him like family. So, yeah.
And you were one of the first ones who were kind of intermixed, which is funny because after April, we reshuffled the platoons in multiple ways, and guys went all different directions, and tow gunners went over, and 81s moved over, and like we really mixed it up. And so you were kind of just the first experiment to see if it would work, I guess.
Yes, it was crazy.
Yeah, man. What else you got, man? I'm not going to force you to share anything, but if you got anything else, that's good. This has been great, bro.
I feel like everybody, that kind of, I don't want to say doubt it, but like kind of I wish like everybody that doubted what our capability,
Mhm.
I wish they could see us now, right? Like what we were capable of. And that's just from every leader in the military on right. So we go back to when we got extended, right? In
In
OP.
Okinawa. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know we're talking about, but I feel that because we took that, that hurt us, like that hurt our pride. I
Mhm.
think it was like we're coming with a vengeance when we got sent. Like we're going to show them, right?
Yeah.
Why them leaving us behind was like the worst decision they could have ever made. I feel that that's potentially like what drove some of us, right? Like, okay, you screwed up. You said we were bench warmers. Okay, I'm going to show you what we're all about, right?
I think every single person we've talked to has remembered the benchwarmer speech.
Bench
And
warmers.
and
Yeah.
I hope that I'm not gonna say that general's name because fuck him.
Yeah.
But I hope he knows how much he pissed off that entire battalion. And
Yeah.
that's yeah, that was some bullshit. To say that we
Yeah.
were bench warmers for the war of our generation, essentially.
Yes.
And I've
And
said,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it just kind of, that was like, it fueled us to strive to be in excellence, right? Like during that deployment.
Yeah.
At least that's how I feel. Like, yeah, that's how I kind of took it.
nice.
Uh,
As we said earlier in this, and I know Nyland's probably sick of me saying it, but I really believe part of our success of Ramadi had to do with such a large core of us coming up at such a weird time. Like you can't replicate how bizarre that our peer group was of that '01 to the deployment. It was just a weird set of things that shaped us to be able to do Ramadi. If I mean that I never thought about the benchwarmer speech kind of being a little bit of a catalyst for it, but I do recognize like us being involuntarily extended over there, the amount of angry people that we were so angry coming into our deployment. It was a year later, but we were still ready to go. That I don't know if our hearts and minds would have been in it in the same way if we wouldn't have had those experiences.
yeah, completely agree 100%. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel that was like one of those turning points for us. At least for me, right? I don't want to speak for everybody, but like at least for me, to where like I will always remember that, and I was like, all right, so I'll show you bench warmers type of thing, right? And
Awesome.
yeah, it was just like epic to kind of see how everything kind of flourished.
Yeah.
What else?
Do you have any memories of interacting with any of the Iraqis specifically, or the police or the ICDC or anything like that?
No, I remember was it Rocco or
Yeah.
Terp?
Yeah.
I was like,
Lead
how?
interpreter.
Yes, I was like, how the fuck did this guy get so fucking big? Like, I remember him
Steroids.
being huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, but like I was like, how the hell? Like everybody else is just scrawny or with a big belly, and then you have Hulk Hogan on steroids over there. Like he was just like so I remember like so that was like my only kind of per se interaction because I don't remember having anything else with anybody else. Even at the government center, I was one of the minions, right? So I wasn't really like in those places during that time frame. Other deployments, yeah, but not that one.
Now it sounds like you kicked down a few doors, though. Did you interact
Yes.
with people while you were in their houses and things like that?
Yes, and then the little bit of Arabic that we knew at the time, or the non-existent Arabic that we knew at the time. Like where's the Terp? But it was like I don't recall interacting with a lot of females throughout the deployment. I recall a lot of males. Like it was like an overwhelming amount of males, whether it was searching houses or saying, hey, I know you saw something, like just trying to question and trying to get validity for things that were happening around us. But there were yes, I kicked down doors, but I just feel like it was more of like, okay, I'm kicking down and then I'm going to set security. And then like everybody else kind of came in and was doing the whole speaking piece more so than what I was able to experience.
Yeah, you mentioned Rocco had an interesting story just talking about Rocco because it was him and his brother were both interpreters for the United States
Yes.
military, and they would alternate. One of them would go work somewhere. I don't know where he was from, but he would go work, and then one of them would do the interpreting, and they would save up the money, and then they would switch.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a very unique opportunity for them to earn a little extra money. And I think their plan was to go to the United States. And I had always heard rumors that they had somehow made it to the United States, but I don't know if that ever actually happened.
Yeah, I don't know. That it'd be kind of cool to,
He'd be an interesting
yeah,
fellow to interview.
yes, to interview.
I would
Yes,
love to hear his perspective, but
yes,
I
yes.
wouldn't even know where to start to get a hold of him
Mm-hmm,
if he's
mm-hmm,
even still alive.
mm-hmm.
If I remember correctly, we ended with 3. It was Danny, Wilbur, and Rocco.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. See, I don't remember the other two. I just, for whatever reason, I just remember Rocco.
I was pretty friendly with Wilbur. Kazem was
Okay.
his Arabic name, his real name.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know what happened to the other two. I don't think Kazem's around anymore, though. I think he got caught up in the Arab Spring stuff. Do you remember the transition from high backs to up armor? Did that change your life much?
It did.
I think
I used to be scared to leave the wire and those high backs, man. Like,
because I think 81s, didn't you guys keep one of the high backs? Didn't you guys keep that? Yeah. But you went over to a up armor?
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did go. Yeah, I think I want to say I did. I don't think I stayed the entire deployment on a high back. But I remember being so scared, man. Like I was just crouching down. I can remember how we had like the L-shaped type doors or whatever. Yeah. Like, yeah.
3/4 doors. Yeah.
The 3/4. Yep. So I remember just being scared and like crouching down. Like when you tell people like that, those stories, they're like, what? And you're like, yes, motherfucker, look at the fucking picture. No doors, vinyl doors, welded bullshit armor.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like people don't fucking believe you. Like sandbags on the fucking floor. So many sandbags on the floor that your knees fucking hurt because they were fucking bent in all kinds of fucking ways to make sure that you were somehow protected.
Yep. Anything to absorb a little shrapnel.
Yes. So yeah. I mean, throughout my other deployments as well, we had high backs that were a little bit better though.
Yeah. What was the difference?
We did use it. So they had the up armor vehicle doors.
Okay.
And then they had a little bit like they had welded armor, like no kidding armor on the outside. No. So they had tried to kind of like transform it.
Sure.
And into that, but we still kept quite a few high backs for a couple of my other deployments following. I mean, that.
They're just useful for medevac and that kind of stuff. Yes. Trying to put anybody into one of the enclosed vehicles when they were injured was, especially with the amount of ammo we were carrying, was almost impossible.
Yes.
And if you have to, I mean, again, you're talking about you were rounding up detainees and stuff like that. You can't put detainees in a regular Humvee. There's no place to put them. I mean, you could fold them up and put them in the back, but even then, you get one or two.
Yeah.
This has been good, bro. This is good enough. We can always bring you back if you think of something, you want to talk again. If you listen to other people's bullshit and you're like, nah, man, I want to comment on what, especially like what you're like, Latham is full of shit. I want to tell everybody he's full of shit.
If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe for future episodes on your favorite podcast service.